back then I probably wouldn't have shared these things because I was very prideful. I didn't like anybody to know that I was hurt. I didn't like anybody to know that I was being picked on. Whenever I get picked on, it was so difficult for me to deal with because I had this this ideology or this sense of self where, being picked on, I could internalize that and feel like there was actually something wrong with me instead of seeing it for, what it is, which is that person is incomplete and they have been taught something. Like, so racism, for example, is taught. They've been taught something that is very dangerous, very dark, very hateful, but it causes division. It can, at its minimal, it's passive aggressive. At its most extreme, it can end up in genocide. It's something that can be very, very covert, meaning it hides in the hearts, and you can feel it and you can sense it, but you don't actually get a good look at it until the contents of the heart come out through either words or actions that are in alignment with what's occurring in the heart. So, so now looking back, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how much good could that have brought so many people? People that have never experienced it, then they're going to see that, and they're going to they'll just be able to see through another person's perspective. And when you see through another person's perspective, it just gives you an opportunity. I'm actually looking at like a mailbox here, and I'm standing like right before it, so I'm actually facing towards the west. So I'm going to stop here. So I'm unable to see what it looks like on the east. I can, when you're looking at it from the perspective where you're looking at it towards the east, there's also a blind spot on the south side of it. So I can naturally assume that every side is identical. I can naturally assume that other things that I've heard from other people, they kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, they add the missing pieces to the blind areas that I have. However, it's not until I actually move and then face it from another perspective. And this one happened. I'm giggling because somebody wrote in black Sharpie, it says, "I love you," ! I love you too. Okay, but so now I can see it from a different perspective. So if I'm actually hearing somebody talk about their experience from a first person perspective, about their experience regarding something I experienced, so me going through my childhood and then them going through their childhood, when we have a listening ear and when we speak in transparency, when we don't omit anything, when we don't censor anything, but we speak as close to actuality as possible, the listener has the potential to actually hear and understand things from a different perspective, and then to give them a more holistic perspective on the event and also how that event plays out and impacts different people. And I was thinking, you know what, that is something that I think would add much value to our society. That is also something that I believe many people that suffer in silence, this can provide a voice for them. And that's one of the biggest things, is when you feel like you don't have a voice, you feel like your mouth is muffled. And when your voice is muffled. And when you feel like your voice is muffled, it's almost like the default is despair. And you feel, you sink into a state of sullenness, and it jades and darkens the reality, or the lens that you see reality through. However, once somebody raises a voice on behalf of the voiceless, it's esteeming, just in the sense of you feel this great relief where it's like, oh my goodness, somebody else understands. And oh my, it's it's wonderful. And so now looking back in hindsight, that would be something I would have loved to have done, but I wasn't able or equipped to back then.